this presentation, I'll be discussing the Leave No Trace principles and how they apply to Philmont. So what is Philmont and why are we going there? Philmont is a high adventure scouting ranch located in Colfax County, New Mexico. Philmont is the BSA's largest national high adventure base and takes up roughly 140,000 acres of natural area. Philmont mostly consists of backpacking, but it also includes horseback riding, ATVs, rock climbing, mine exploration, shotgun shooting, and much more. Philmont helps challenge scouts through very intense treks by strengthening the traits of the scout law in each and every scout. We're going to Philmont to experience true adventure while at the same time being challenged and coming out as better people. So how have we practiced the Leave No Trace principles in the past? In Troop 104, we've been very hardworking in practicing the Leave No Trace principles. We've practiced what are known as conga lines at the end of every campout. This is where we walk across the campsite we've been using in one big line and look for any trash or remnants that have been left over. We've always disposed our dishwater properly. We've only taken firewood from dead trees, and we've even picked up other trash that wasn't left by our troop. And to my knowledge, we've left every campsite exactly how or better than from when we found it. And here's a picture of our troop getting trash from Falls Lake, which we did during one of our monthly training treks. In the next few slides, I'll be explaining the Leave No Trace principles, but I'll only be reading the title due to save time. So, the first principle is plan ahead and prepare. The second one is travel and camp on durable surfaces. Number 3 is dispose of waste properly. The fourth one is to leave what you find. Then number 5 is to minimize campfire impacts. Number 6 is respect wildlife. And finally, number 7 is to be considerate of others. So how will we practice these principles at Philmont? We will practice the first principle because we know exactly when we're going, how we'll get there, and when we'll be back. We also won't be going during a time of extreme weather. We'll practice the second principle by staying on the trails at all times, and we won't be traveling in a big group. We'll practice the third principle by packing our trash in and out with us, along with disposing our dishwater through a sump pipe while filtering out our solid waste from the sump pipe. And this is like we've been doing on our training treks. So we'll practice the fourth principle by leaving all rocks, plants, and other significant objects or artifacts as we found them. One way I know we'll do this is by placing sticks around the trees where our cord is wrapped around to hang our tarps over our backpacks through the night. And to show an example of this, there's this picture which kind of shows you what we'll be doing. So as you can see, the sticks will be tied around the tree to protect the tree from the rope if it pulls like during the nighttime. And this will make it so the trees will look the exact same when other scouts go to use the trails in the future. So this is a picture of the sump pipe and what it'll be like. And as you can see, there's a screen-like thing on the top of the sump pipe, and this filters out all the solid waste from our cooking. And the solid waste will pack in with us and carry it out, but all the liquid waste will go down the sump pipe. Okay, this is the continuation of practicing the principles. We'll practice the fifth principle by only having our campsites in designated areas that are protected, and we'll only use white gas stoves, which are lightweight and low impact. We'll practice the sixth principle by only observing wildlife from distances, of course besides horses, which we'll be riding at times, and we won't be feeding wildlife, and we'll also be securely setting up bear bags to keep animals away from all of our smellables. And we'll practice the seventh principle by being courteous to other scouts and leaders on the ranch, and we'll yield to others on the trails and avoid being loud. So how will the principles on this trip be different from our previous campouts? Previously, we have camped on many state park and organization-owned campgrounds, which can be easily accessed by the public. I can't remember a time when our troop has left a campsite worse than we found it, but some campgrounds we've used have not been treated well by other people that have previously stayed there. Philmont will be different because it's a high adventure base owned by the BSA, so it will most likely be one of the nicest and well-kept areas that we've camped in, since many dedicated scouts who have mastered the Leave No Trace principles have gone here. This means we'll need to work extra hard as a troop to clean up after ourselves and leave campsites just as good or better than how we found them. More specifically, we'll dispose our dishwater differently on the trip by dumping our dirty water into some pipes which go into the ground rather than digging a hole ourselves. Similarly, we'll dispose our solid waste differently by putting it into a bag rather than digging a cat hole, as cat holes are not permitted at Philmont. In addition, we will not be allowed to have campfires for cooking and warmth due to the forest fire exposure Philmont has received in the past few years. And last but not least is the conservation project. In order for us to receive our arrowhead at Philmont, we all need to spend 3 hours working on a conservation project. The work of this project may be physically demanding as we may need to cut trees, smash rocks, and build trails, but it's nothing we haven't seen before, and we'd be physically ready for this from the training we've done in our monthly treks. Although we don't know which project we'll be working on yet, our project may include erosion control, trail building, forest fuel management, and habitat restoration. This project will not only be done to help give back and show gratitude towards Philmont for allowing us to have this trip, but also to make the high adventure base better for the scouts that will use it next. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you later.